Hi, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. My name is Jack. So this video is going to be about the importance of tracking correctly when advertising on any paid media channel, but specifically I'm going to talk about Facebook paid advertising campaigns in this video, and I'm going to show you some examples of a client we recently took on. So we recently took on this client around 30 days ago, and the objective for them is to generate leads. So their business model is an inbox magazine. So they actually build a huge database of email addresses, people looking for their content, and then they market to those people via email campaigns and on their website, and that is how they generate revenue as a business. So our job as an advertiser is to come onto that account and is to build that database for them. So they need leads for the lowest cost possible, and they're also tracking things like how long those subscribers are staying with them, the quality of those subscribers. So it's not just about getting dirt cheap leads, although ultimately for them, the KPI is, can we generate leads at scale through Facebook advertising to be able to consistently grow their database so they can grow their business. So we came on board with this account and they said to us, look, we want more leads at a lower cost, and can you help us with this? So the first thing I do is I typically audit an account, and me and my team go through the account, we look at it and we say, right, is this something that we feel we can bring value to? Because there's no point starting off if you don't feel that you can actually bring additional uplift to an account. So we always perform that audit typically before we start working with the client. So I jumped on and I had a look at their account, and the first thing I noticed is the inaccuracy of the tracking that was on the account. Because the client told us at the beginning, they said, look, back in the day we were getting leads at around 50 pence a lead, and it was very profitable, it was working very well. But every time we tried to spend, I think they were spending around like £1,000 or £1,500. Every time we tried to spend more than that in a month, the campaign would just drop and the CPL would just rise, and we would end up spending like £10 a lead. So I said, okay, cool. And I had a look at the account. Now, the first thing I noticed is that what they said didn't necessarily align with what was in the account, and actually what's in the account is completely inaccurate. So what they were saying is probably a more valid picture. They're probably you're going off their CRM data, but what was in the account was a complete kind of mix mash of data. I'm going to show that. So here you can see some of their campaigns. So these are campaigns they've ran previously. Now, one thing I immediately noticed here is I selected the lead column to see, okay, how many leads are they generating? That's the metric. So this one you can see here was generating 88,000 leads allegedly over the duration of that campaign. Now, that would give us a cost per lead of 6 pence. So that's way below what they said they were getting, but it's very, very positive if that is the metric that they were hitting. However, when I look at some of the other stats, it doesn't really make that much sense. So they've only had 1,400 link clicks, 14,000 link clicks, but they've had 88,000 leads. So that's interesting. Their cost per click is 38 pence, but their cost per lead is 6 pence. So you can see here where there's starting to be some kind of disparity in the numbers, because if they're spending 38 pence a click on this one campaign, how would they be getting leads at 6 pence a lead? It wouldn't make any sense, right? So that number's always, the cost per lead is always going to be a multiple of the cost per click, because not every single person that clicks on your campaign is going to opt in. And even if that was the case, even if it was 100%, it would still only be 38 pence a lead, because the cost per click has gone up. The average is 38 pence across the campaign. So the lowest it could possibly be, even with 100% of the clicks opting in, which is never going to happen, would be 38 pence. So I can immediately see here that this is not accurate. Also, if this was working as well as the metrics are reporting here, they wouldn't need an agency to come on board. 6 pence a lead would be incredible. They could just continue doing what they're doing. And again, I'm going to show you kind of what we're doing and the numbers that we're hitting for them now. We've just had them as a client of ours for 30 days, and we've already got some incredible results, so I'm going to share that with you. So the route we took with this campaign and with this client is to run competitions. So they need people in their subscriber list, they need people to subscribe to them, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to offer some value up front. So to actually run a giveaway where they're going to opt in for the chance to win a specific item. So that's exactly what we did. We also set up both server-side and browser events. So we're using a Google Tag Manager. We're pushing it through both on the server side and also pushing through just the browser events to the pixel, so that we've got the most accurate data. We're using deduplication. We're pushing through as much customer data as we can, and we're also pushing through unique event IDs, so that again we can have deduplication happening, so that we're not over-reporting on leads, but we're also leveraging both server-side and browser tracking. So you can see now what we've done. We've run these campaigns for literally just over 30 days, and you can see we've got a few really positive stats here at the moment. So we've got initially 2.8 thousand leads being generated on this one campaign, and this campaign here we've got 6.3 thousand leads being generated as well. And you can see here these numbers are making more sense, right? So we've got 26 pence per website lead, and we've got 20 pence per on Facebook lead. So we're running both lead form and we're running website leads. Now we're doing this for a couple of reasons, okay? Because we don't just want to run just on Facebook leads, because the quality of those leads from our experience can be typically a little bit lower. However, in this case, they are a little bit cheaper. So what we're doing is we're testing both, and we're working with the client to monitor this over a longer period of time to see what's the unsubscribe rate, how are these people actually engaging long term with the brand, are they pursuing other actions, are they taking other actions with the company, or are they just unsubscribing after they've opted in, which is not what we want at all. So what we're doing here is we're looking at both and we're comparing the two constantly. And that's the importance of tracking, right? Without this data, without knowing where we are, how can we scale the brand? How can we confidently put more money behind it? And when they came to us, this client, they were scared to spend £1,500 a month, because every time they spent more money, it seemed to just wreck the results, and they weren't sure what was working, what wasn't. And it's clear that that wasn't being tracked accurately, at least back to the platform, with a high degree of accuracy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump into the Google spreadsheet and show you how we're doing the kind of second half of the tracking for this. Okay, so here you can see the Google spreadsheet that we've built out, and there's a few kind of different columns here that we're using. So what we're doing first of all is we are sending them and we're exporting, and the data is getting pushed, I should say, from the Facebook lead forms into their CRM, okay? Now, one challenge we have with this client, and what makes this client unique, is that they already have a very large database. So I think they already have several 100,000 emails on their database, and what we're trying to do is bring them new subscribers. Now, when we launched a campaign, the first kind of metric we got back from them was, okay, we've got all these new leads, but only this percentage of leads are actually new subscribers. So the rest of them are opting into this competition, but they are actually already on our database. Now, that's not the end of the world, as long as we're tracking those two metrics and we're then comparing them, because ultimately, at the end of the day, the client doesn't care if we report back and say, look, we're getting 20 pence leads, and they say, yeah, okay, fine, but actually, only 1 in 4 of those is actually new subscribers. So the way you're targeting is either incorrect, or you're not excluding our existing database, or something's wrong, but ultimately they're not going to care. They just want new leads at the right price. They don't want to have your leads that have come through that are already on their database. So what we're doing is we're tracking both the leads and the subscribers. So obviously you can see here on our first batch that we sent over, we've got 220 leads, and we had only 56 actually new subscribers out of that, which gives us a 25% new subscriber ratio. Okay, spend was only £23, cost per lead was 11 pence, total cost per new subscriber was 42 pence. And that's literally how we've been tracking, and as we've been scaling, that's exactly how we've been doing it. So we've been looking at, okay, what's the actual lead data here per day? What's the new subscriber data per day? What's the percentage? And you can see here it's actually increased over time. So we're actually getting a higher percentage of new leads now coming through versus before at the beginning, where we had a lot of people that were already subscribed to their database. So here you can see the running totals. So we've generated in total 5,876 leads. 2,000 of those are new subscribers. We've spent £1,000 so far for a 19 pence average cost per lead, and 35 pence average cost per new subscriber. So looking really, really strong there in terms of those stats. These are, just to note, this is just from the lead form data. Over here, we've got the conversion campaign. So again, this is including the people that have opted in on the website side of things. So again, running totals for that. And it's all the same type of thing. We're looking at your 3,200 leads, 1,100 new subscribers, get 22 pence per new lead, 61 pence per new subscriber. And again, if we look at the whole account, this gives us a picture. And this is why we break it down, because we want to see, okay, how is the lead form ads performing versus the conversion campaigns on website leads converting, how well, what's our subscriber rate? Are we getting a higher new subscriber ratio from lead form or from conversion ads? Which cost per lead is getting higher, quicker, which one do we need to keep an eye on? All of these sorts of statistics. So we like to look at both so that we can then compare. And obviously we also have the running totals here for the account. So you can see total, we generated them 9,082 leads so far, 3,231 new subscribers, £1,700 spend, so 20 pence per new lead, 56 pence per new subscriber, and a 35% average new subscriber to lead ratio. So that's the importance of tracking. And you can see if we didn't have this documentation, if we didn't have these things in place, how would we know any of this? How would we be able to report back to the client? How would we be able to make intelligent decisions on the account? We wouldn't. So it's very, very important that we have these things in place. This is a fairly simple account in terms of the structure, in terms of the reporting, in terms of the objective. It's just to generate leads. We don't have to track through all the way to a sale, to revenue. For us, it's literally getting them as many high quality leads through the door as possible and making sure that we're doing that consistently for them and being able to scale their spend, which is what we're in the process of doing right now. And I'm very confident that's going to be successful. So that is, that's just on this type of account. For other clients, and I will dive into this more over future videos, we have a lot more advanced and complex reporting and analytics that goes in behind the scenes to make sure that we are meeting their KPIs and meeting their objectives. But this is very important, and the point remains that I want to make in this video is that if you do not have an accurate form of tracking and you do not have systems in place to be able to report on the data accurately or to a high degree of accuracy and then make decisions based off of that, it's going to make your job as an advertiser extremely hard. So the actions to take in terms of making sure you've got these things set up. One is make sure that your on-platform tracking is as accurate as possible. So if you're using Facebook ads, Google ads, make sure you've got the Facebook pixel set up. Make sure you're pushing back high quality data. You've got a good match score. You're setting up both browser and server events. Very, very similar in terms of the action steps to take on Google ads as well there. Set up things like Google Tag Manager and look into that process. And again, I will be making future videos on exactly how we do that for our clients. So these are some of the actions you can take. And then I also would highly recommend you have some form of off-platform tracking that's happening where you're looking at what is the actual hard data, what's your actual CRM saying, what your sales saying, not just relying on what you're seeing on the platform, because you need to be able to compare the two so you can get a well-rounded source of accurate data. So look, I hope this video has been helpful. Please like, subscribe, drop a comment below, it really helps me out. I'll be making future videos on similar topics, diving into different accounts that we're running, different challenges, things that we're overcoming, techniques and kind of on-platform actions that you guys can take to help generate more revenue for your own brands. If you're interested in having a conversation about me and my team working with you, there's a link in the video description where you can book a call with me and we can go through your account and see if what we do is a good fit for your business. Thank you very much.